Hi everybody, thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to have a little video on an idea, a sample that I made for a recent show on Hochanda television, and I had some gorgeous stamps from Bapasha from AALL Create to demonstrate, and I came up with an idea based on a gift rather than a card. I tend to make cards, but I thought it would be nice to actually make a gift. Now, this idea came from a sample which I'd already seen from my lovely friend Anne Redfern, and she did a birthday book which was gorgeous. So I sort of asked her how she'd done it, what she did. She did a blog post on it which was brilliant. It's so nice in the craft community when we can share ideas, but I always like to change them a bit. So I came up with the fact that this stamp set, I'll just quickly reach over and show you the stamp set in question. Gorgeous stamp set, and it's all about communicating, and we've got a lovely phone booth on here and an old telephone, vintage telephone. And I came up with the idea that how often when you're on the phone do you need to make a note? And if you're anything like me, I have loads of pens. I love buying pens, but I never have one when I need one, and certainly not post-it notes. So I came up with this idea of a little booklet that has post-it notes in it. So as you can see, we're going to decorate the front, we've got the inside, we've got the post-it notes here. And what you can actually do is pop a pen here, and there's actually room so it will fit in there. I mean, this would make a lovely gift. This one, I'm going to show you how I made it from scratch, from grey board. But obviously you can use the same idea and buy a ready-made notebook and just cover the front and the back. Obviously, I covered the back here too. So, enough of me waffling. You know what I'm like. I must apologise. I do talk far too much. So, to start off with, the best way I found was to actually get my post-it notes. As you can see, I have actually stamped already in brown just for vintage on some of the post-it notes. I'd like to pretend I've gone all the way through, but obviously I haven't. But if it was a gift, that would be a nice thing to do. Or write little messages. I like doing things like that. I love to leave little messages around the house for my husband. I'm just a bit funny like that. But anyway, it's another story. So, take your post-it note and some grey board. And what you're going to need is a piece for the front, a piece for the back, and a piece for your spine. Now, obviously, they all need to be the same height. So what I did was I just measured my post-it note and decided I wanted a nice area around it. I didn't want to make it too small because obviously the stamps wouldn't showcase very well. So depending what stamps you were using, I mean, we've got some fantastic stamps at AALL Create. I mean, this would look lovely. You could do one with some of Tracy's florals or Olga's florals for a lady. And we've got some gorgeous cute images. Janet Klein and Olga do that fantastic cute. So you could make one for a child using the cuties. I mean, actually, you could make one for each member of a family. And I think in this day and age, when we're looking at nice ideas to give and things that are inexpensive, this will be a lovely way of making gifts because you don't actually need a lot. So what I've done, as I say, is I've just measured around, and so I've got my 3 pieces of grey board. Now, obviously you could use mount board, but I haven't got a paper trimmer that cuts mount board. My guillotine will only go up to a thin grey board, so hence I'm using the thickest grey board that I can cut at home quite happily. And then the other thing you need is a black tape. Now, I've got to be honest, this is electrical tape out of the garage. I'm sure some craft companies will sell the tape, but to be honest, I found just a hardware shop and some electrical tape for me did the trick. Now, the main thing that you need to be aware of is you want this hinge to work. So I found to start off with, the best way was just... Now, with this tape, it will stretch a little, so try not to sort of overstretch it, and also try not to lose the end, otherwise you know what it's like, it's a bit like at Christmas. Now, I found it easier to actually put my tape sticky side up. I don't know if you can see that. I can move it in. I do lose track of where I am here. I must apologise. And I found it easy to actually put my grey board on. And what we want is a little gap to form that hinge. So I found that I could quite happily then just place that there If it wasn't quite right, take it off. Again, we've got a little gap there. And then we want another piece on top of it. And again, I found it easier to take my tape, press it down, to take my tape. You see how we've got the hinge there? Like I say, overstretch with the tape and then trim it. And again, because I've put two sticky sides together, I won't get any stickiness on my scissors. So you would do that both sides of the hinge. So I'll quickly do that for you. So again, sticky side up. I'm not really cut that wide enough, but just for demo it'll be fine. Again, a gap. Press the tape down, trim it off. And so there you've got your basis of your design already. What I did then was took my tape and covered all the sides. So one piece along there. Quite good working on a non-stick craft mat because obviously you can just peel it up. So again, just feed it over. It's a little bit like wallpaper papering round a plug. Don't know if you've ever done that. I was always given that job when we did wallpapering. So again, along that side. I mean, once you get into the swing of it, they're quite quick and easy to do. I'm not going to do all four sides. You can miter the corners if you want. So you would do that on all of them. So in good old Blue Peter fashion, here's one I've made earlier. So this one, obviously I've got the hinge and I've gone all the way round all the sides, as you can see, front and back, and just cut the triangle, just mitered the corners so we get a nice neat. And again, I've done mine this way, but there's no reason why you couldn't have your sticky note and have your design so it opened this way, like a little writing desk. I mean, you could do it for cards and envelopes, you could put a pocket in. I mean, really, once you start, honestly, there are so many ways you could adapt this. And as I say, for the sake of a piece of A4 grey board and some black tape out your husband's garage, I just think it's such a fantastic thing to do. Next bit you need to do is cut your card. Now again, obviously measure your card. Now you want a little black. If we go back to the original, I like that black area. I tend to put my artwork on black card, so this almost frames it for you. So what you're going to need is measure the size of card for that, and you're going to need one for the front, two for the inside, one for the back, so you're going to need 4, and then one to go on your spine. You can put one on the spine on the inside if you want. I mean, again, if you wanted to put some elastic and then you could pop a pen and it would be secure, again, that's another idea. So what you're going to do is cut your card to size and then decorate the card. So I'll put this to one side. So I have, now with the card, I decided to use, I wanted all mine the same. I like to have a bit of a theme running along, so I would decorate them all at the same time. Now I've gone for blue and green, and I'm using Distress Oxides. So I'll just decorate one here, but I would actually do all of the 4 together plus the spine. So I'm going for, a blue is Faded Jeans, and the green is Crushed Olive, which is sort of a yellowy green. It tends to be my favourite colours at the moment. So when I'm inking, I do try and not get too many fingerprints on the card. So circular motions when you start blending. And we're just going to blend some ink at the top, bring it in. We're just making a background, so don't worry too much how your blending is. It's a good way of practicing blending, but it really doesn't matter. It's just a background. So circular motions, we'll do about halfway down. and then in with the green, turn the card round. Just going to move on my mat because I've got some blue ink there, so I'm just going to move my card here just so I'm not picking up too much of that blue with my green. I'm using the oxides, but the normal distress ink worked just as well. I mean, you could braille the ink on if you wanted. It's just a way of getting ink onto the pieces of card. And I'm just going to work in this area in the middle. I do like to work on the blended area. I'm not putting any more ink on my sponge. I don't need it. There's enough ink on there, but just working on that area will blend it and bring the blue into the green and the green into the blue. And that's fine. Don't need any more. What I will do now is some flicks of water just to do that faux bleaching, just to add some more texture into the background. And while that's drying, just clean my mat. You know, I like to try and have a clean area just because I think I've got less chance of putting a finished piece of artwork in my ink. So my cloth comes out. Now I'll just pat that now. At home you would let it dry. So we've got our ink on. The next bit will be to do some stenciling. So I've just grabbed one of my stencils here, again from AALL Create. And I think I'll just introduce a little bit of a darker green here. So many things you can do with stencils. You could put texture paste through them. So if we add some ink there, and then what we'll do, put the lid on that, we'll spritz a little bit of water through this one at the top. Again, we're just going after, we want something in the background. So see if we get a bit of, I think I might have put a bit too much water through that, but let's see. Let's give it a bit of a dry, a bit of ghosting. And the other thing you can do, where you've got your ink here, give that a bit of a spritz. Again, Eric, my Labrador's on the floor here. Sorry, mate. I think I've just spritzed water over his back. Mind, he's a Labrador, so he enjoys water. So we'll just pop that on, see if we get anything. If we don't, it doesn't matter, because again, we're just making a background. We're just building up those layers. No, I don't think we had anything on there. But like I say, just very, very faintly. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. We've got some of the brick wall here, and then you can just start to see the faux bleaching starting here. Again, they're just all things we're doing in the background. So we'll put those to one side. So I would do that with all your background pieces. As I say, have fun, spend time doing it. Obviously I'm not going to, you don't want to see me do 4 exactly the same. So I'll put that to one side to dry. So what you will have is 4 backgrounds like this. And again, I just like the continuity, and the same with the what's it called? Oh, I said it before. This bit, you know, I know you'll be shouting at me now. Isn't it funny how words escape you? Anyway, so the same with that bit. So I would do all the colours the same to match. You could alternate them if you wanted. I just like them all to match. And what I want to do as well, I will decide which is my front and which is my back, and which is the little hinge. And I wanted to stamp this tring, which I like, just to coordinate it all together. So I've already stamped these, but what I will do, just to give you a quick little heads up on stamping, just to remind you. So when I'm stamping, I like to have some copy of paper. Let's have a clean piece. So I have some copy of paper here. And so I've got one of my backgrounds here. And what I would do is take my stamp, and this is this lovely foam one, and I'm using a black VersaFine Clear ink, and I like to stamp on copy paper. I just find it makes my stamping easier, just gives it a little bit of give. you do whatever works for you. I've said this before, if you find a way that works, carry on, you do it that way. So I'm going to put the phone on twice here. So I'm holding my block. Again, I can decide where I want the phone, and I'm going to put it here. Press down. Now again, with the AALL Create acrylic blocks, they are flexible, so it does mean you can just lift the edges up slightly. This is a small stamp, so I haven't got a problem. Even though it's a small stamp, I'm just going to give it a few minutes for the ink to soak into the card. I mean, again, we've put ink on here, we've had water. You know, let your VersaFine soak in. One thing I do notice at workshops is ladies just lift the stamp far too quickly. So we'll lift that off. And also remember, because you've faux bleached, there will be areas of white on your card. So sometimes it can be that when you're stamping. Lots of light taps, and we'll do another phone here. We'll have 2 in opposite corners again, a good press. And again, if you wanted, lift it up. There we go. Now, what's lovely about this is one of the other stamps, if I just show you, this one here has the actual handle for the phone, the handset. So if you wanted, you could stamp that, cut it out, and then you could even put it on top of the phone, or you could have a piece of wire and have it dangling from the phone. Again, lots of ideas of what you can do. So my suggestion is I would stamp all your pieces up and then add some colour. So I'll move on to this one now. And as you can see, so I've already stamped this one up. And what I'm going to do is to add some colour, I'm just going to use an Inktense pencil and just scribble a little bit of colour here. I just want to make this banner pop a little bit more. And again, it's up to you how much you want to do. So we'll just add a little bit. I am mindful that because I have already got oxide on here, it will move with the water and react. So obviously you're not going to get true colours. So I'll just move it a little bit. I don't want too much water because, as I say, I have got oxide ink underneath. I mean, again, you could use a normal pencil and just, it doesn't have to be a water-based pencil. Like I say, I just want a little bit of colour to highlight that. And it's quite nice if you've used colour to use it somewhere else. So sometimes, just where we've got this border here, I'm going to add a little bit of blue. And then just bring my brush and just smudge it out. And that just brings a bit of the blue down here. As you can see, I've done my fuzzy line, my little scribbly line, and also I've added a little bit of stamping with this lovely mesh stamp, Tracy Evans stamp. It's great for adding detail in the background. So I think here I'm just going to do a little bit, and I'm just going to use my blue. Now I'm not sure how much this will show up. I'm just going to roll it so it's not on a block. It's a bit of organic stamping. Now, to me, that's a little bit too much in the background. So I'm just going to try a slightly deeper blue. Let's see. Let's hope I don't regret this. I hope it's not too in your face. Oh no, that's better. Look at that. Just a little bit of the blue, not too much. Just a little bit there. So again, it's just building that background up. And then, once you've got all those done and you're happy with them, you take your piece that we've got here, and all you're going to do is glue them. Now, I just used, I've got to be honest, I just used a Dries Clear glue. If you wanted, you could even put some red liner tape in the middle, you know, a bit of the belt and braces. I tend to just use my finger to just bring the glue to the edges, because what you'll find where the tape is, you do have to hold it down. It doesn't bite straight away. So I would just dry my finger there. So this is the front one. And again, if I put it flat, easier to line it up. And I would just glue that on there. And again, with your glue, you have got wiggle time. So if any comes out again on the tape, just use your cloth, give it a dry. And again, time to just wiggle there. Perfect. And then I won't do it, but again, I would repeat the process. There's the spine. Oh, that's the word, the spine. I was looking for that before, wasn't I? Thank you for sending that to me, whoever sent that to me. And that's my base. I have got my Posca. Remember, a few flicks with your Posca pen, that just adds to it. And some white highlights. It's nice to have some white highlights. What would probably look nice on here, even some glossy accents. Let's have some highlights on there. And finally, what I've done is I've cut the handset from the phone. And what I would do is use some 3D glue gel and pop that on the front. I wouldn't suggest decoupaging anything on the back because that's going to be flat. So if you're going to decoupage, you really want it on the front. So we've done the front, the spine and the back. Inside, attach your 2 pieces and then your post-it note. Like I say, if you want to put a pen in there, what a lovely gift. I hope I've explained it all right. I tried not to take too long over it, but I hope it's given you an idea. And I really hope that you take this idea. And as I say, there are so many other ways you could use this. So once again, thanks, Anne, for giving me the inspiration. I hope I inspire you. And we have an AALL Create Fanatics page on Facebook, on social media. So I'd love you, if you make one, can you tag me in, please, and put a picture on there? I'd really love to see it. Anyway, thanks a lot, everybody. Take care. Love and hugs. Bye.